guys, we're live, and so if you have any, do you have any questions before we get going?
I'm good right now.
Questions for the question person?
Questions for the question person. You have anything you guys got?
Where did you get your background?
This one I had made on Fiverr.
Love it.
Thank you.
Very good.
Was it just generalized fantasy, barmaids? What were the keywords when you're like, hey, I'm looking for animated blah? What was it?
I just told him pretty much I'm looking for like a medieval tavern kind of deal for the game Ashes of Creation. Unfortunately, since we didn't have enough artwork, eventually it'll be the animation with like some artwork from like maybe an orc or a dancing Nakua on a table, something like that. But right now it's that's what I got. But a lot of people like the sexy barmaids. I want a brothel, but Steven won't let me. So I'm getting as close as I can. I'm going to push the boundaries.
Very nice. Very nice.
Walk as close to that line as you can get.
Yeah. Let's see.
What got you wanting to start doing this?
Well, I used to stream
all the guilds and stuff.
Well, I used to stream about 8 years ago. I used to stream Dead by Daylight. And got out of it because I kept having internet problems, so I just gave up. I'm like, screw this. And but so I've always loved making content and stuff like that. But Ashes got me so passionate that I wanted to just be part of the community. So about 4 months ago, I started making YouTube videos for pretty much the first time. I mean, I have another channel with my wife and I, but it's only got like 200 subscribers, so it's nothing big. And then streaming as well. But I figured it would be a good, trying to be part of the community, I wanted to go ahead and get to know the community more. And I thought that, well, having people like yourselves, other guilds who are maybe trying to find members that want to join them, it'd be a good outlet for them and a good outlet for me to get to meet the community. So it's kind of a win-win. And so far, the guilds have come on. We had Black Sails, and they were real happy with their recruitment. They got quite a few people, they told me, from doing that. So I got an Ethereum lined up, but they're super busy right now. I don't know if you know them. Probably one of the bigger, I think they are the biggest guild right now on Ashes. But I myself, as you probably already know, am an Overlord. But yeah, so you guys, so I got this correct. You guys have been going 20 years, right?
That is correct. Oh, okay. I do have one. I've already gotten 1 PM. It's Fist of the Empire with no S.
Oh boy. Shit.
I would yell at Zuda more. I know he's been busy, but yes, it is Fist. And we will get to where that comes from, I believe, shortly.
Let me see
yes,
if I can change that real quick.
That's all good.
That's my mess up. I'm gonna get so much flack for it in the channel already. I can smell it coming.
Just give me one second.
Put you back at PR status. That's what's up.
Oh no, not the PR status again. Don't do this to me.
If it saves it correctly, I might. Fist of Empire, right?
Fist of the Empire.
Oh, yep. Of the Empire. Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But most people know us as FOE. It's, I mean, you can go back forever, and people have been, oh, there's foe, here they come. So
Save it.
Especially in the recruitment video is great for that.
Now let me try to put it on here. The nice thing about having the dual edit, the studio mode, so I can have 2 screens up at once while we have a starting screen. Uh-oh. It just... welcome back to the Hidden Dagger, and guys, I hope everyone is having a great Friday night. Happy freaking Friday. Tonight we have Fist of the Empire. We have two representatives, a strategic and an operations representative. They are going to talk to us about their 20-year guild community history, and I hope you guys are excited as I am for this, because I've been waiting a few weeks to get them on here, and this is basically going to be their Ashes of Creation chapter, I'm assuming, basically like that, and it sounds like they're a pretty large guild, but let's go ahead and get started. First off, how are you guys? What's going on?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Doing wonderful. Can you go ahead and pronounce your name Zudamore? I'm probably screwing that up.
Nope, you said it perfectly.
All right, Zudamore, and then we have blank space. That one's pretty easy. Even dumbass like me can get that one. All right.
You got
blank space. Do you have anything you'd like to add? How are you doing on this fine Friday night?
Doing great. Excited to be here. It's been nice to chat with you beforehand. Ready to answer some questions.
And thank you, chat, by the way, for letting us know that we screwed up the name. I will take that responsibility on myself. So I'm not going to throw Zudamore under the bus or anything like that. He had nothing to do with it.
I take that.
Okay, guys. All right. Well, let's go ahead and dive on in here. So first of all, tell us a little bit about your guild history and the background. Can you give me a story of behind the founding of Fist of Empire, if you could?
Yeah, Blank, you wanna take that one?
So I have some of these responses from our guild leaders. So I didn't get it wrong, because I wasn't with Fist of the Empire 20 flipping years ago. But the guild was founded in 2002 during the alpha of SWG. There were 3 ding-dongs, Praelian, Thork, and Nightshade. They all worked together at Fort Irwin in the Army.
I was in Fort Irwin. Hell yeah.
They all enjoyed gaming. And there was another annoying Brit who liked to hang out. His name was Soko. Fist of the Empire was one of the names that they chose because they were one of the only Imperial guilds. And SWG, in the way they had their system, you're only allowed 3 tags above your head. So that's where FOE came from.
Okay. All right, that sounds good. That's awesome. I haven't heard that name in about 20 years. Fort Irwin. My son was born there at the Wheat Army Community Hospital. Hell yeah, hooah. All right. So we already got what inspired the name of the Fist of Empire. So how is it? You said the guild's been together for 20 years. So how has it evolved over that 20 years? How many members did it kind of start with, and where are you at now as far as membership?
So what started as a couple of folks ended up fluctuating throughout time. Currently, Discord tells you some sort of inflated number, like 1,000 people. When it comes to active numbers, it all really depends the game. On a League of Legends night, you have anywhere from 20 dinglings. Right now, if we were to go look for PAX Day, there's probably 50, 100. It really depends the content and what's going on, because our community has kind of shifted throughout the years. But, if you have to say how many people have had a faux tag, thousands, and they sort of come and go. Evolution-wise, the big difference here is that it used to be primarily MMOs, PvP, and now because of sort of the pacing of games, we're at this place that, hey, there's a FPS shooter, there's a this, there's a that, and we're getting together to play those games as well while we're waiting for whatever may be baking.
Yeah, to add on to that, I joined much later in FO's history. I joined about 4 years ago during the pandemic, right when it was in full swing. So I got a little bit of experience with the old, and I got a lot of experience with the new right now.
How many members are you guys expecting for Ashes of the Creation? As you know, is going to be a very large game. How many members do you think you're expecting right now for your Ashes of Creation chapter? And have you discussed how many, since the guilds are going to be different, you're going to kind of be penalized if you have a 300-man guild. So are you planning on splitting your guilds up? What are your thoughts on that so far from what you know?
So there's been a lot of discussion around this because of that exact condition you're talking about. We, Fist of the Empire, we like to make decisions based on what is going to allow us to achieve and accomplish our goals on the battlefield, and that will be where we place our hard numbers. So currently we can recruit up to 300, 400, 500 people. We prefer not to because we know that it's going to be limited in the game. And we also have different groups that we're looking to do things with. Once you kind of conflate to that size, you have to deal with getting to know new folks and, putting out more different fires. It's much easier to, and we've been calling it slow recruiting. We're like, listen, we're recruiting. We have a specific number. Right now, we're looking at 150 as sort of our kind of soft target for active folks. And that's because of the way the guilds are based and what they've sort of told us. If we can make 350s, great. If we can have 100, 200, or several 50s, we need to see how that actually works in the game before we break it down. But right now, we're kind of very slowly moving towards those activity numbers. And then once we get in the game, we'll adjust because it's not going to be just PvPers, PvEers. We're going to have the folks that are late night grinders. We're going to have the sort of casual login. So there's a lot of different moving parts inside of that.
So you're truly a PvX guild then. You got PvPers, you got PvEers, you're all just kind of coming together for one common goal then, which is great.
Man. We've got theory crafting nerds. We've got actually, that decimal point goes here. We really do have that full spread. And
the spreadsheet guys, all that, yeah.
That's me. I'm the spreadsheet guy. What's up?
Awesome.
And we found that it's really important if you just recruit, for example, hardcore PvPers, or you just recruit casual folks, or you kind of put yourself into a pigeonhole. We want to support our goals, which is always, some sort of PvP goal. Own a castle, own the first castle, own a town, own the best black market in Ashes of Crew, whatever it may be. And then we backfill inside of that and plan around it. Okay, well, we're going to need this many logistics folks. We're going to need these PvE nerds. We're going to need these econ dudes doing this stuff. So we make sure that it's all working at the same time and fluidly. So by launch time, everybody knows what they're doing. We know when the casuals are coming in and out, and when the hardcores need to dump out their buckets. So everything's ready to rock when the game launches.
Very nice. And hopefully after we're done with this interview, that you guys can, I see you have that's how I found you up on the Ashes of Creation forums. So hopefully you can go ahead and just post this interview up so people can just watch this interview and they'll be able to see all about you, everything they need to know. So I hope that helps you guys in the long run. What are some of your what's your most memorable moment in your guild's history?
You want to start first, Blank?
No, go ahead, man. Why don't you share? Because you have the newer. You got.
I got the newer stuff.
Go ahead. Yeah, give one of the newer ones.
So when I first joined FOE, I joined during last Oasis, and that was crazy. Seeing 300, 400, 500 motherfuckers on the battlefield at a time was intense, and I was sold from the get-go. And just being such a powerful being in such a powerful alliance and leading a bunch of other small alliances to fight these massive zergs that are across the pond, and just infinite resources, basically fighting those guys, like that's one of the most memorable moments. That's actually what made me want to stay, was playing with these guys and just having fun and going through the desert on these wooden constructs and just tearing into these big groups and stuff, and just hearing all the funny stuff that goes on in comms. That was definitely one of my most memorable moments. And one of my favorite moments is in New World, when we got Windsward in under 3 hours, and then we got, I believe it was Everfall for one of our allies in like 2 hours after that. So we were the first ones to have, I think our two guilds were the first ones to have towns for like the whole day almost. It was crazy.
Do you guys have any stories? Because I know you were in Arcade. You mentioned that pre-show. So what kind of stories do you got from Arcade? Anything good?
So in Arcade, and I have my little notes here. This is my favorite part. Arcade was NA first castle ever earned. and we had the top 3 rated PvP players of all time. That's ArcAge. This goes up and down. Foe won SWG Best Guild during Sony's FanFest event a million years ago. They were stealing Rebel-owned player cities in SWG using a politician skill and some subversive techniques. I love how that was worded. The devs in Fallen Earth called out Foe for being too good, and our tactics were patched out with our names literally in the patch notes. In WildStar, we broke the food system, and it made us unbeatable in PvP events. We ran the largest alliance in Guild War II during the Golden Age, owning all the PvP maps, obviously, until Oceanic logged in. Top Guild in BDO, Beta, first Emperor ever crowned in Tesso Beta. That's Kip. Shout out to Kip. There's a laundry list of craziness, but if it comes to my favorite, I'll tell you mine. I was live streaming during ArcAge, and they would make me go off to the side and pretend to be doing other things so they could run main objectives. So people would tune into my stream and be like, where's Blake going? Where is he? Let's go find him. So here I am in my little rowboat, and I'm like, dude, this sucks. They're all going the other way with the whole crew, and I'm getting messed up on stream. Everybody's laughing, and all our stuff is going the other way. So that was literally one of the things where we would bait people out and be like, oh, here I go. Oh, I'm going to meet up with everybody. All the stream snipers are coming in to come beat me up, while the rest of the Foe crew is bouncing out with all the trade packs.
You know, your names, their guild name sounds familiar. You just mentioned Guild Wars. Were you guys on the BlackRock server?
I cannot remember the name of it, but we were a part of what was called the Ascension Alliance.
Okay. Do you remember a guild named Dust Till Dawn?
It sounds familiar.
Zen of Onslaught, Dust Till Dawn.
Okay, yeah, Zen of Onslaught. Yes, I do remember that name.
Okay, yeah. Those Zen of Onslaught and Dust Till Dawn was the guild that I ran, and Zen was with us, and we were in the Retribution Alliance. But you guys sounded familiar. I know I've seen that name somewhere. So,
yeah.
All right, awesome. So you guys have, and I love that you were bringing up some of the key moments in your gaming history, because that's what I want people to hear. I really want people to know that this is not just a community guild, that you guys are an accomplished. When you guys set forward into something, you dig your teeth into it, you're gonna bring it and give it your all. So that's what I think people want to hear. They want to know that if they go to you, then are you looking for server first? Is this what we're looking at?
For Ashes, I'm not quite sure. Could you define exactly what you're talking about? Are you talking specifically server first castle?
First Metropolis or first castle, stuff like that.
I think it's too early to make any sort of. Listen, 10 years ago, blank space, big balls. Like I'd be like, oh yeah, absolutely. Now,
yeah.
I'll be realistic with you. A lot of us are 40 or older. God bless Momo. I'm not going to say how old she is, but she is a gem of our community. But she was my age back when Foe started. That's how we'll say.
Okay, that's all right. I'm 52, so I'm close to older than dirt too. So it's all right.
Momo, Quasi, love them.
To say that we'd like to aim for those things, it is a realistic expectation for us to aim for, but sometimes those sort of things aren't exactly what we're looking for. And what I mean by that is, like, let's say we decide that what we want to do is we don't want the biggest metropolis, but we want a carved out slice to make the most money in our tiny section. Maybe we want to sub ourselves out to one of those 300-500, and this is something we've done in the past. We don't want to be that ginormous dog. You've got 1,000 people. We'll fight you any day of the year, but we'd rather you pay us a little, come through our town, work something out, build up a nap so that we can keep doing what we're doing. So yes, would it be nice to aim for some sort of server first, something like that in Ashes Creation? Until we start to see what that entails, I think I would say we'll see.
Okay, that's good. Kind of taking a cautious approach till we learn more about the game. And being you're both Alpha 2 and you Alpha 1 blank space, all of us are going to get to know so much more about how the game operates and stuff like that. Because I'm figuring it's going to be at least a year that we're going to be looking at Alpha 2. So we're going to learn a whole lot about it while we test it and gear up for launch. So maybe if you guys are enjoying this interview, maybe once Alpha 2 is done and we're getting ready to do release, we can revisit this topic and have you guys back on the show if it's something you'd like to do.
Yeah,
That works for me.
What would you say? How do you maintain that sense of community and continuity over such a long period of time? I mean, 20 years is a long time.
Yeah, that's that one's difficult. The thing I would say is that we tried to bring new and old games to everyone. You know, we try and gain interest for different things. Like upcoming, we have Once Human. Super excited about that. I'm going to be helping do a lot of leading with that, and we have some strategies and stuff that we're trying to come up with for running warbands, hives, things like that, and just playing games together, just trying to get the community involved with, even if it's a small game, just trying to get them to come and play and bring people together.
Nice. And you've already mentioned some of the other key games that you've played. You mentioned Arcade, New World. What were some of the other ones? SWG, Guild Wars. Any others that you want to bring up in your gaming history? It sounds like you probably touched about all of them.
It really is that. And it's funny because in our recruitment video, you can see this like spread of just different games. Mm-hmm. If we were interested and we played it, and I like to say this again, this is the new age. We play a lot of games now that we don't play like hardcore competitive, right? We play them because it's something fun to enjoy. Like Zuda was saying, a little Once Human, or like right now, everyone's like checking out this game PAX Day. There's a difference with having the community hang out and have a League of Legends night, or playing Myth of Empires, or whatever it may be, versus we're going to be competitive. One of the things we didn't really talk about was sort of the structure of FOE. We use that military structure, so it is really a 1-shop, 2-shop, 3-shop, 4-shop. And inside of those, we have operational folks who do things, so that I may not right now currently be playing any of these games, but I will be playing Ashes of Creation, so I'll be there. We have Life Shatter, who's an XO. He's doing Once Human. We have Kip, who's section leading something. So we have a bunch of folks doing a bunch of different things. But the cool part is now we get to say, this is a serious game. We're going to either make it an MSC, which means a main chapter, or we're going to do some, a soft chapter, or this is just a section. Come and hang out. It's just a casual thing. Okay. So that's kind of a recent change in the last 4 or 5 years, where we aren't just, okay, we're going to play this game, everybody la-di-da-di show up, and now we only call that every once in a while, and then it's like, hey, here are the things we are playing, come play with us if you want.
I have a feeling you're going to be calling people for Ashes of Creation. I really believe in my heart that this game is going to be I know I'm smoking a copium, but I really think this is going to be the next best thing. I mean, look, the sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while. It's been 20 freaking years. So, we're bound for a break, right?
Yeah.
I'm right there with you when it comes to, and it's something I've said for our leadership, I can put my energy and time into these other sort of casual games, but I'm looking for the thing we can dig into. And I'm sure you've seen that yourself. When you play a game, sometimes there's real life. And when you get hit with real life, people have to step away. They have to do other things. Maybe you can't game as much, and then you feel bad because you're behind the power curve, whatever. But there's a difference when you stop playing a game because pay to win hits too hard, or the grind. And God bless New World, but whoever thought, the end game should be run around and collect boxes was out of their brain. I don't, how do you have such a beautiful game that's like, I'm chopping trees. It sounds like I'm in the woods, Mom. I love it. What's the end game? Some cool PvP that's busted and broken from time to time. The arena is plagued with bugs. And what do you do at the end? Oh, you run around. Hey, we're going to go on a box run. What else are we doing? That's it. We're going on a box run.
Going on a box run.
Yay!
That was not a great time. I I definitely hope that Ashes of Creation is able to kind of break that barrier that it's like that peak that it's climbing, and I'm hoping it can get to the top and be up there with like WoW, Final Fantasy, Guild Wars, and I guess we can throw in ESO. I mean, ESO's kind of been up there, but it's kind of like the stepbrother that you kind of like hang out with, but he's a little weird kind of thing. But aside from that, I hope Ashes can get up there. And there's a lot of games that have tried recently for like MMORPG kind of games, so it'd be nice to see something new up there.
Well, I know that they have, at least what I checked out recently, and I've heard multiple numbers, but the one that I've heard more than not, and also have checked on the internet, was they have about 3 million accounts made, and that's a lot of accounts that they have set up. So once out, those are just people that are interested. And a lot of those people have probably just taken a back seat and they're going to come back and check it out later. But once streamers start streaming this game in Alpha 2, because there's no NDA, I think a lot more eyes are going to be on this game. And it's going to be very, like when you have your Asmongold's and Shrouds and all those guys, Tim the Tatman streaming the game, they're going to go, what's this game? Millions of people just alone from those three will just churn on in. So I'm very excited. And that's all Steven needs to do, is use streamers to market his game. That's the way to market your game now. Don't pay for it. Use a streamer. We'll do it for free. But yeah. What do you think is your biggest challenge or challenges the guilds faced in your guild history?
I'd say gaming dry spells. Yeah, the gaming dry spells. When we don't have any really great games to bring back up, or the games that are available to us are too buggy, servers are dead, so we don't have anyone to fight against, blah, blah, blah. That's definitely, I'd say, one of the biggest challenges is when there's just nothing going on. So, that's where I'd say this is one of the biggest ones.
And for me, because we've been around so long, it is when real life interferes and reintegration of people. So often, and you've been around for a minute or two, folks will fall off because they're kids or they're married or their house or divorce. And often what happens is in different communities, thankfully not in Foe, people get together casually because it's like the Zerg, or they want to play a thing, and they're not like super connected. They were just folks that they played with. So when real life happens, they sort of disappear and don't come back. The cool part for us is we've kind of built that around that. Like, we're like, when we've always said real life comes first. Now, there are times where we have to remind each other, especially during like launches, hey man, get off your bucket, go see the family. Like, man, like, go take a break. Dude, I took a 4-hour nap. I went to bed at 1. It's 6. How the hell are you? Like, we look out for each other, but that's the biggest thing, is that real life will often knock people off, and having them come back and be like, dude, it's all good. How is life? How are you doing? Instead of it being like it was, there were a couple years, I want to say like 10 years ago, where it was really rough because everybody was grinding career. Everybody had like kids, and it was just like, well, shit, we could barely get together for a game night. The hell with doing something serious. And that was a big thing we had to work on. Like, how are we going to adjust to having real life and still wanting to game?
That's fair. That's good. It's funny you mentioned launch. I'm one of those crazy son of a bitches. I honestly, I do all the honeydews, do all my errands, make sure I got plenty of snacks. I got my poop sock and my pee bottle next to me. I'm ready to roll, cock lock and ready to rock. So I'm a nut. For even at 52, I will sit here and play 18 hours a day. What's up, Pockets? How you doing, buddy? Welcome. I will just play the whole freaking day if I can. Although I will say that the older I get, it's harder to sit in this chair for a long time. My ass hurts more. But other than that, what do you look? Let's get down to recruitment, because this is what people are going to want to hear. What are you looking for? What are your primary qualities that you're looking for in new recruits? Do they have to do an interview as well with you, or how does that recruiting work? Hey, Draco, how you doing, buddy? Get a standing desk. Good point.
Yeah. For the recruitment part, I would say community first mentality. That's one of the biggest things. We want to progress people as a whole, not the individual. You're joining a community, expect to be a part of a community kind of thing. Just overall good people. The people who shy away, don't want to chat with us or anything, they don't stick around. So I would say the people that come in, hang out with us, get to know us, we try to be welcoming, we haze one another, blah blah blah. But like those are the kinds of people we want. We want people who are looking for that like forever home community. I mean, we've been around for 20 years. Who's to say we won't be around for another 20 more, if not longer? I mean, that's the whole idea.
No, for sure. For sure. What kind of... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Be here forever. Sorry, like be here forever, man. I like that's the whole point. This is for me, and that's why I stick around in Foes. It's my forever home. This is going to be my community till I'm in the ground,
Dragon.
man.
What I want to say to that, because I've been here a little bit longer, we've literally said goodbye to members. They've either passed away, they lost a battle with whatever, and we have this kind of joke, especially with us higher ups, where I'm like, listen, I'm lasting longer than you because I'm gonna buy because often we'll buy a tree or a bush or some sort of memorial for certain folks if their families want it, and I'm like, yo, you're not buying my shit first. Like, there's no way, man. I'm outliving you guys. So it's kind of one of those jokes where we are looking for folks that want to come in game, have the same mentality as us. Yeah, there's a little bit of an interview where it's some real simple stuff like, don't be racist. Don't be a dickhead. If you're going to be a dickhead, make sure that it's with a buddy that you're being silly with, not actual jackassery. There's enough of that in the real world. We're here to game and have fun and kick ass.
Just go play a game of League of Legends. You get all that you need.
Exactly. If you're looking for agey, was it ragey, angsty bullshit? This ain't it. We're looking to kick ass, to go into video games and have fun, but also hang out, get to know each other. And again, like Zud was saying, this is like our kind of forever home. These are the kind of folks that we play video games with, that eventually about their real life, about the kid who just went to college, about the 25-year-old who's like, oh, I don't want to go to college, I'm gonna be an electrician. We're like, yo, man, go get it. Like that sort of getting to know each other. And sometimes it gets so big where you're like, who the fuck is that? And so you jump into channel. You're like, hey man, what's up? Who the fuck are you? Yo, you're PR. What's up, dude?
It sounds like you guys have pretty much all kinds of members from all walks of life, which is really cool. I like it. I like it a lot. Well, and how do you, with those new members, and you said there is a little bit of an interview, do they have to fill out an application too, or are they going to be able to just click on your Discord link and then talk to somebody from there?
No, they just join. They can join in as a volunteer, and if they want to start the PR process to become a full-on member, they would talk to York or an S1. There are they deal with all of our members, new PRs, things like that. It's kind of like the volunteer role is kind of like your window shopping. You're seeing what we're like and seeing if you jive with us, and then when you go through the PR process, that's like us becoming Facebook official. We're putting it online, and we're letting everyone know that you're our PR now, kind of thing is how we like to say it.
And that's exactly why I'm doing these videos with you, these interviews with you guys in the other guilds, so they can see who you are and what you're about. I think it makes great, and you guys are explaining things so well. Keep it up. Sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's fine. And our, I guess, interview, I don't like saying interview because then it just sounds too jobby, but when we go through that process together, man, it's just me asking, what games do you like to play? Who are you? You want to tell me a little bit about yourself? And we just go over our rules. I tell you a little bit about myself if I want. It's brief, it's light, and then we go into the channel, and maybe someone will give you our famous Quasi speech. Maybe someone will say, "Get back to work." Thanks for joining. Get to work. Yep, stuff like that. It depends. It varies from day to day, but we try to get everyone in the channel, talking with people, getting to know people, so they can make those friends.
Now you said channel
and make those connections.
Is Discord mandatory? I'm going to guess not.
Yeah.
So Discord is mandatory for games that are what we call active sections or chapters or MSCs. So we'll explain it like this. We have the cool little bot that just allows anybody to pop into a channel, change the name, do whatever, right? So often folks will pop in there and they're playing bullshit that nobody else is playing, right? It can be, I could go scroll right now and already look at something and be like, oh, that dude's playing Diablo. This dude's playing Dark and Darker. This one's editing some bullcrap, Call of Duty, right? So they can hop into Discord at any time and be like, yo, somebody want to play. But when it comes to something that, and we'll say that has a section leader, which means somebody's volunteering from the community to help out, to be like, hey, we're playing Diablo here. We're playing League of Legends tonight at this time. We ask that you be in Discord because it's the best way to sort of coordinate that crowd. But for everything else, half those dudes I just named off, they may or may not be in Discord. But anything that is being led by either a volunteer leader or OpFo or StratFo, we're definitely going to have people, especially for something like Ashes to Creation. You will be asked to be a Discord while you are playing. And the only time, and I'm one of those people in the morning, I get on, kids go to school, wife is at work, my butt's here, and I'll be out farming. I might be in Discord with just my stuff muted, but it's just in case, hey, I'm getting attacked or something's happening over here. You know what I mean? So it increases communication. And we've also found that it's great for community building. Yeah. People sit around, and especially those morning, and Momo's, her favorite quote is, I know more about how many of these men take a dump and at what time than I ever need to know. And she always used to laugh about that. She's like, I don't need to know, but like all of a sudden they're quiet and they're gone for about 30 minutes and I know exactly what they were doing. But we all get to know each other because that's what you're not farming by yourself. You're hanging out with some homies, even if it's quiet as shit and everybody's just drinking coffee, farming and dumping stuff in a guild box.
I'm one of those people. I'm a morning person. I'm up usually 4 or 5 in the morning, and then I'm going to play before I go to work, and then I'll play whenever I get home and do more playing. And but I need my coffee morning and afternoon, or morning and night. But what do you have any other than just kind of playing what other games that are currently out? Do you have any specific activities that you really like to do with new recruits to kind of get a better feel for them? Hello, Brilliant. I had to send nudes to Blank Space to get into the guild. No, were they feet pics? Thanks for the first time chat, Brilliant. Appreciate it. They got to send feet pics to you guys to get in. Is this what the deal is?
No. That is he's one of the founders. He's one of the guild leaders. So that's why he's being a ding dong. I'm sorry. I don't even remember what your question was.
There's not like an OnlyFans Fist of the Empire, is there?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Definitely discuss.
Just making sure.
It's something we should discuss. Momo might be interested. Maybe. I don't know.
Sorry, I derailed you. Go ahead there.
No. What was the question about? I'm sorry.
Do you have any specific activities that you'd like to do with the new members? Anything that really stands out, or do you just kind of try to join and talk to them when you can?
I have a weird one. I'm sure Zuda has one too. But so before I was C3, I actually was C1, which is having people come in, dealing with the PRs. So what I used to do is I used to have them come in and we used to have this joke where I would give them a PR number that they had to remember. And the way that our guild works, you are a PR. So you go, and we just added volunteer recently. So you become a PR, prospective recruit, for a certain amount of time. And during that time, we put you on what we call the GAR. It's green, amber, red. So anytime you do something awesome, we make a little note. If you're fucking get too drunk one night, we have to kick you out, maybe make a little note. And when it comes time for membership, we go through and we're like, hey, that guy's good, that guy sucks, hey, he needs to cook some more, whatever. We would also mess with them. So I want you to imagine, you're this new dude, you've joined this group, you fucking love it. And Blank brought you in, and he's like, hey, don't forget, here's your PR number. It's blah, 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 shit emoji, 67, 69, lol, whatever. When you're getting ready to be inducted, Thork would say, okay, so what's your PR number? And just listening to just that silence, like, oh my God, do I really need that thing? Blank said something about a poop emoji. I don't remember. So that's one of the funny things that I used to do when I was doing induction or bringing people in. I'm sure Zuda might have something, because I've heard when Zuda brings people in, but I'll let him share. So
Yeah, I mean, when I bring people in, my favorite thing was the like I mentioned earlier, the quasi speech. It's this one member that we had in the community. He gave this excellent speech, and it evolved over time as we kept bringing in more and more new PRs, and he would go from a lot of swearing and telling you to get the fuck back to work and stuff like that, to being really professional about it. And he's like, thanks for joining. We're really excited to have you. Now it's time to get back to work, young man. So get back to work. Awesome. It was my favorite thing. I tried to always bring in new PRs or new members when Quasi was around to make sure I could get that speech out of him.
Nice. I'm sure I've seen you guys, or at least one of you are also in the Overlord channel as well. I'm sure you've seen my guild leader in here, Draco Bringer. I'm sure you guys are familiar with him in the Ashes community. I know he likes coming and checking out the new guilds and seeing all the new faces. And Prelian, it's nice to meet you. And what kind of, can you describe to me your guild leadership structure?
Whew, did Zuda send you our picture, or am I going to have to describe this?
You're probably
going to describe this, aren't I?
In layman's terms.
Notes. I have clip notes.
Do you want to go through it?
I mean, my notes on it is that we're kind of like an officer corps, and so Blank is C3, I'm S3. I support Blank supports me, and that's kind of how our relationship is. But I usually, if I have cares, concerns, or if I need to ask anything related to my role, I typically ask him. That's
not a pyramid scheme, right, guys?
It actually sounds exactly like a pyramid scheme.
It does.
So there's a graphic, but I'll explain it like this. So we have Stratfo at the top, and they're so that's our guild leaders, and inside of that is what we call strategic foe. So we take all of those 4 shops, and we all have a specific job and duty. So inside of 3, I typically do like the announcements, and I do every quarter, so I send an announcement. Also, when there's new games and stuff coming out, we put things, me and Zuno work on updating a calendar. Here's what's upcoming, here's what to be on the look for, here's launches that people are playing. We also bounce that off of our 4 shop. So the 4 shop is logistics. There is somebody at my level who takes care of like the Discord crap. I don't touch Discord crap. That is Cox. So I'm like, hey man, we need this fixed. He does it. He sets it up.
What was his name? Cox?
CX, yes. It's Cox.
Okay.
Coxworth.
Coxworth, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a great name.
But along that group, right, we all have specific things we do. There's also currently 2 active guild leaders who are off doing different things in different games, and then we have an XO, which is Life Shatter. So inside of that strategic foe, we make sure all this stuff for foe happens. Underneath that, Zudamore is one of the what we call operational foe. So they're the ones who kind of break down those smaller day-to-day, game-to-game things. And then underneath that, we have TAC foe. So those are the ones who say, for an example, for Ashes, I will be there helping for the day-to-day event stuff. And then we'll have Zudamore also doing day-to-day stuff, but he'll be working closely with the logistics folks. I'll be working more with the 2 and the 1 to make sure everything's moving forward so that everything works. But it is that top-down. And even the TAC folks, we have a couple folks who are like, I don't want a lot of responsibility, but I can run like a 5-man, group across the world. Awesome. So it scales down like that. Like I said, it sounds like a pyramid. It's not really. It's like a circle. I just need $5 a month.
Yeah, $5.
Yeah,
it's a bare minimum.
And this is important. And you've touched on them a little bit, but is there anything in specifically that you want to hit? And since one of your guild leaders is in here, what would you say what is the core value, the biggest principle and the biggest value that Fists of the Empire wants to uphold?
For me, when it comes to the guild, we've always been guild first, and I'm sure Zood is going to say the same thing. We are looking for folks who like they understand that it's not, and it can be very hard because I'm one of them, those alpha players who wants to be the top, but often, and it's one of Thorke's favorite sayings, rising tide lifts all ships. So often, just because you're 200 elo ahead or your gear is wrong, we need to make sure to bring everybody up to that same place. So it is often guild first. Yeah, that's great. Your gear, your whatever, is better than everyone else. It doesn't matter. We need you to come be a part of the whole group. And if you can understand that, you're going to fucking love it here. You're going to be like, just like Zuda. He just showed up last couple of years and he's like, I fucking love this place. Because if you are willing to do that, I am. And so is every other male and female that we have that wants to go kick ass.
Awesome. Do you have anything to add?
Same thing.
Same
thing. Community first, good people, like Praylin said in the in chat. That's exactly what we're looking for. I want dudes that, if I'm doing S1 work and interviewing people, I want dudes or dudettes that come in and I interview them, or York interviews them and I get to meet them, and I want to be able to say hi to them 5 years from now and be playing a totally different or even the same game. They dip out because of real life stuff. That's awesome. Progress your life, do what you got to do. When you come back, we'll be here.
Awesome. And that's why we do it, Wizzy, or that's why we're doing it, because Wizard 85 is because, you're getting a chance to see these different guilds and see if it's a fit for you if you're not part of a guild. They sound like a good group of guys so far. I'm pretty impressed with you guys. I like what I'm hearing. I think this video is going to resonate with quite a few players out there, and I'm excited. And I will say this, if you guys do come back on, let's say just before launch, we're going to have to get your that guild member you're talking about, the older woman, on there, because she sounds like she's a riot.
Momo.
Yeah, we're going to have to get Momo on here, and I think she could be a lot of fun. So this is going to be interesting. How are you guys going to go ahead and handle conflicts and disagreements? Who's the one that gets to deal with the troublemakers?
That's all you think.
So we have very simple rules, and I wish I could just read them. But one of it literally just says, be a good person. Just be a good person. That's it. We, and just recently, when we've talked about changes throughout the years, we added in a new one, which is we are apolitical. We don't give a shit who you vote for. I don't give a shit what rally you went to. Nobody gives a shit. What I do give a shit is about what you do at your keyboard and about you in your real life. Beyond that, we just don't care. But when it comes to the sort of conflict that can pop up, we, first of all, look at people and we say, you're a fucking adult. If you're yelling at people and, projecting your, whether it's insecurities, your bad day, there's a difference. Come and hang out with us, bitch about it. It's kind of like sitting at a bar, right? You don't want to sit at a bar with a dude who's bumping into you, being a dick, spilling his stuff everywhere, yelling and swearing. But if a dude sits down, he's like, man, I had a shitty day. Yo, bro, next round's on me. We're looking for that nice. Sort of attitude. You know what I mean? We're not looking for the fucking sloppy jackass. And again, if we have to, and we've removed people. If you cannot follow very simple, chill rules, we will remove you. It is super rare. But again, if we have to, we will, because protecting our community and the way we want to do stuff is super important to us. And again, we've had thousands of people come in throughout the years, and I could count on both my hands the amount of folks who ever had to be goodbye, get the fuck out. Super rare.
Yeah, even when I joined, the amount of people that have actually had to go because of any issues, very, very few. I could probably count them on one hand. The whole dealing with conflict and stuff like that, typically we try to squash that. I try to talk with people if there's anything that's going on. I try to help mediate any problems if there is any, or bring that person to the right person to talk to in channel as well, stuff like that. So we try to squash that kind of stuff before it gets out of hand.
I did want to mention something. It's in the same vein, but it reduces a lot of conflict for us. So often people will argue about what are the classics. Your who is getting loot, right? Or are you doing DKP or some sort of distribution?
Do you have a DKP system? That's good point.
So, I mean, who the fuck does it's 2024? DKP is, I mean, if it was necessarily, no, but we again, it's typically sort of a group loot with, we decide who's going to be getting it based on availability, how long they've been on. Dude, this is the guy that's been donating so much materials. He actually provided half of this trade pack run, right? Like, yo, this dude, hey, you're first in line. But
Okay.
One of the other things we do, so yes, DKP if we needed, but I'm sure Praline would probably come here and beat me up if I said we were doing that again. It's typically officer loot where we look and say, hey, here's what everybody's doing. And because we have that trust with everybody, nobody blinks. We're like, yeah, okay. But we do something else. I'm sure if you've been around military folks, it's called an AAR. So often after any sort of major PvP, PvE, logistics, doesn't matter. See, there's your no DKP. We have an AAR where everybody in the channel, it doesn't matter if you've been there for 20 years or 2 fucking days, you get a chance to discuss what happened. So our intent was to go out and to go fight this fort and get it. We went, we hit enemy contact, we made this adjustment. This is what we see. And then we go down, top down, officers are last. And anybody can have a chance to say, well, this was good. You know, communication was bad. Hey, the shot caller sucks. He needs to do better. And nobody takes it poorly. We literally want to hear, because that's better perspective. A lot of us, myself included, we did this in real life as military. So when you have this many people giving you perspective, sometimes it's wrong. And you're like, well, the reason we did that was because we had intel from TeamSpeak saying there was 100 people there. So we went this way and they're like, oh shit, okay, that makes sense now. But it allows people to feel heard, and it reduces that amount of fucking conflict where people aren't like, well, why the fuck did they do that? Oh, you know why. They told you. It was an AAR. Were you paying attention? No, I walked away and took a piss. Well, that's your fault. It reduces the amount of conflict, you know? So
Nice.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
makes sense.
we've had people come in, they only been there for a day. Their opinion matters just as much. Like if you're joining us and you join in a huge battle, your opinion matters because you have a perspective that, like if I was leading something, I don't have that perspective. So it's good to
interesting you
get
said that, because my next question was going to be, how do you incorporate member feedback into your guild decisions?
Yeah, AARs is the way to go for us.
Okay.
When as an example, for Once Human, when we were doing a war, I was leading the war. It was my first time like leading something like that, and I messed up on a couple of different things, communication, blah blah blah. Took in that feedback. I came up with a better strategy. We applied that strategy in our next war, and we won. And we
Nice.
knocked it right out of the park. So it makes the community. We get the community opinions. They feel involved in decision making process, and we get their feedback and stuff like that. They are participating, and it makes me or whoever else a better leader.
Nice.
Well, I do want to mention, because if somebody's watching this and they're like, oh, that sounds interesting, there's also the other side of this coin where sometimes you may be told, shut the fuck up, get in line, press your W key, and don't press your ultimate until we tell you. There are often times, right, that it's like, we need to do this, and we can't talk about it till later.
Oh, that makes sense.
Sometimes, you know what I mean? And I'm only saying that to temper. If somebody's like, man, these guys sound great, and you get in, and your first fucking roll is with blank space, and I'm like, shut the fuck up, mute the fucking mic, get in goddamn line. We're leaving in 30 seconds. I'm not joking. I'm calling we're headed north. We're heading north in 30 seconds. And then in 30 seconds, you get a 5-second warning. We're moving. We're stopping to catch our tail, and we're going to keep rolling out. You know what I mean? So.
Nice. Welcome to all the new viewers that we got coming in. I hope you guys are enjoying the interview with the Fist of the Empire. If you guys are enjoying it, we do Ashes of Creation here all the time. You can also catch me on YouTube. So if you like it, smash that follow. And let's go ahead and talk about. We already got the feedback in. Guilds and alliances. How do you handle your collaborations or alliances with other guilds? Do you have any yet in Ashes of Creation, or are you somebody you've worked with closely in the past? Like as an example, with Dust Till Dawn, I had Zen of Onslaught with me. We went from game to game to game. Do you guys have someone like that?
So we do. we have been very closely allied with a group called LOTD for a very long time. When it comes to other folks, we have worked with a multitude of different people throughout the years. Often when it comes to large MMOs, because we know that other group, LOTD, we will end up allying with them pretty hard. Not so much hand-holding, but definitely, we say homies for sure. And then outside of that, we would then negotiate anything from NAPs to convenient friendships, if that makes sense. So,
okay. Do you have anything to add on that? I'm trying to find your website so I can link it for them. They are asking me in channel. If you're able to continue on that thought real quick, Zudamore.
No, I mean, we definitely try to chat with as many people as we can. Last Oasis, I mean, as an example, we were leading a pretty big alliance. A lot of people we did not know back then, and just meeting tons of different groups. Same thing with New World, trying to form a strong coalition, working together, naps, stuff like that. So, but yeah, we have some people that we chat with, you know, and we try to make naps and stuff like that. And I myself have been reaching out to a bunch of different guilds and communities, trying to chat with them and create that connection just to get that started. And we'll see how like naps and alliances go from there.
What do you plan as far as like strategies and gameplay go? And we're going to kind of cycle into Ashes of Creation now. What's your approach to large scale PvP and node wars in Ashes of Creation? Are you guys going to be looking to actively, you know, if somebody fucks with you, you're going to go and engage them at that point? So are you, kind of pacifist by nature and wait? Or are you going to be a little bit more aggressive? What's your guys' stance?
I'm chuckling because I'm going to answer this as best I can without cracking up. So we have a bunch of different ways. Often, but let me go back and tell you about, was it Last Oasis? We met a group on our server. We were very quiet. And they were running around. One of them dudes was streaming, and he was telling people, "You have to join my guild or you die." I think that was the name of his guild. It was Join or Die. And he rolled up on one of our dudes, and he's in Discord. He's freaking out. He's like, guys, you gotta come here. You gotta come here. I'm all by myself. This dude's got one ship, 5 guys. So we're very slowly wrapping around this dude, and all of a sudden you just you watch his stream, and it's the best. Like all of a sudden he's like telling it, our one guy, like, "I'm gonna kill you, take your stuff," and then he looks around, he's like, "Oh," it was so funny, he's like, "Oh shit," and it's just like a bunch of ships, and we're all laughing our asses off in Discord. We often will look at the sort of landscape and decide. We also, when I talk about that, that's direct contact. Like, listen, we have force, fuck this dude, right? Let's go. We don't care how many he's got. That's not, and then I think the message was, we'll protect you from those guys. You don't have to join us, but just stay away from our shit. You'll be fine. We've also, and it's one of, again, I hope this is a PG-13 plus. We've also done things known as Operation Blue Balls, where we may have, let's say, a larger group, right? And because of the mechanics of the game, they're able to say, let's say they get into a server or space, right, before we can get in there, or we're waiting to load in. So we'll play Operation Blue Balls. What happens when you have 500 ding-dongs and they're chasing the same 4 dudes, and we have a couple of them I can think off the top of my head who are phenomenal PvPers, who can hop on a ship or fly through the air and just drive you fucking bananas. Eventually, what happens? All the 999 of them are like losing their shit, and the one dude who's like the leader's like, "Come on, guys, content's coming soon." So there's a lot of different approaches in Ashes of Creation. There, right there, that Predlian said it. Is the game going to cultivate classic PvP encounters? We are really hoping that they do, especially through the way the zones work, and then also the political landscape of, hey, Fist is looking to do blah, black market, small scale PvP, help you with your castle, whatever it may be. And what do you want to work with us? And if you want to fuck with us, dude, that my favorite thing is we are, and you can ask every large Zerg out there. It's you can come fuck with us, but the second you step on our tail, we have dudes who will do nothing but make you cry. Just fucking love to watch. Oh, I gotta turn off my stream. Flows here. Fuck. We love it.
Hey, if you guys want to come out, if you're on our server and you want to come out and hang out at a tavern, and come on over to the Hidden Dagger. I'll have a tavern for sure, and have a drink with one of my barmaids. Here's a question for you, kind of back to what we were talking about there. Here's the scenario. You're in the Tower of Carfin. You're up on the 4th floor. You're grinding. There's supposed to be room for 3 to 4 groups doing their own thing. Steven is on your server. And with his guild, they're pulling your mobs. What do you do?
Do we have a nap with them?
Do you let them keep pulling their mobs and ruin your farm, or you kill them?
Oh, dude, you already know that answer. I
got to get it on the record.
We are so. Oh man, so I got to make.
Meat blender?
To make sure. I'm trying to say the right stuff. Yeah, it's pew pew.
Yeah.
When what was the last one? There was I think it was WildStar. The developers would pop in, and then they would try to 1v1 me, and then I was beating the combat dev on stream, so he had to go back out and bring back a stronger kid. Like, we love that shit, and it doesn't. And again, if Steven remembers some of us from back in the day, we don't give a shit. Like, if you're being cool and chill, no problem. But if that one stray arrow comes this way, yo, it's red, it's dead. Listen, I don't know what to tell you, but I don't care who
this
you
one's
are.
for you, Blank. You said you love Margaret. I love Margaret too. She's awesome. Margaret is corrupted. She's red. You're green. Do you kill her?
Oh, dude, of course. And then I take a little picture and I send it on Twitter. I'm like, hey, girl, hey, how's life?
Awesome. We gotta clip that. That definitely needs to be clipped. That's outstanding. I love it. Great answers, guys. What are your long-term goals for the Ashes of Creation chapter? I mean, I personally believe that this game is going to be, I've always been one of those people that have kind of bounced around to MMO because I kept thinking that there was going to be something better coming along because, technology's getting better, games are supposed to get better, but yet corporations found a way to fuck us and bend us over. So if I would have known that and the games would, regress, I would have stayed with Dark Age of Camelot the last 20 years. But I've always envied the people that have stayed with a game for a real long time. And that's what I intend to do, because this is going to be my last MMO. I am too old to be fucking around with this, 10-year development bullshit. So this is my last one. And so, ride or die with Ashes of Creation. What's your long-term goal for Ashes of Creation chapter?
For me, like I was saying earlier, I hope it breaks that barrier that's guarded by WoW, FF14, Guild Wars. I want another long-standing MMO that provides awesome content, brings back that sense of community, that awesome PvP from back in the day, and just fun to last a long time. I want just something different, because I feel like WoW, at least from my perspective, has lost touch with its community. It does a lot of things that a lot of us don't like, and they just keep doing it. Blizzard as a whole sometimes just doesn't do things. Like, you have Diablo Immortal, stuff like that, blah, blah. Oh god, Diablo Immortal. But and FF14, Guild Wars, ESO. Like, ESO is kind of hard to get into. Guild Wars 2, if you played it like when it first came out, and getting back into it, it's kind of jarring and a little weird. FF14, it's an awesome game, but it's like a single player game at the end of the day. It doesn't really feel like a MMORPG. It's a single player game where you sometimes randomly queue up with people to beat a boss for a quest or something.
Nice.
And the PvP in FF14 is atrocious. It's probably one of the worst PvP games out there.
You probably haven't played PAX Die yet.
Yeah. All right. I'll give you that one. But I want something that withstands the test of time, that can be up there with the top dogs, and something that could, last a long, long time and get those multiple expansions, and has a bunch of content to give us provides that PvP.
You know,
That's
you
what I
mentioned
wanted.
it right there. I mean, we have to sit there and we have to take a look at Steven. We're talking about, you know, future and expansion and how's the game going to grow. First off, we have to assume that Steven as a gamer and also as a Pathfinder DM, there's not half of the shit that he wants in the game right now. We know that. So as time goes on, you have to imagine his mind is blowing up with the stuff that he wants to introduce into Ashes of Creation. But first, they need to get the core game loops down. And then after that, then they can start getting that kind of content in. So I am super, super excited. My only concern with expansions is, and I'm sure you guys have played World of Warcraft, was the fact that, you know, hey guys, we're having an expansion. You're now going up to level 70. Guess what? Your gear's fucking worthless. Oh, hey guys, we're having an expansion. Guess what? Your gear's worthless. But Steven has said, and I know this is Margaret, one of her pet peeves, Steven has said that the gear that you get is going to be able to be dismantled, and you're going to be able to get core components for future recipes. So that actually makes it viable. So what say you to all those statements?
For me, they sound great, and I hate this. I want to see it through the alpha and forward. For me, I live in the same place you do. This is probably one of my last MMOs because of just the whole last 10, 15 years of MMO gaming. We've seen Korean games come over, and we know exactly the type, because it doesn't quite fit North America, which is a whole other conversation. This game is being built in North America for North American gamers. It may have a broader audience, but it is that sort of social NA PvP game. I'm hoping that they can lock all of those systems in so that the loops are enjoyable. I bitched about New Worlds. You'll hear me bitch about it all the time. Beautiful game. If they put half as much effort into the end game loop as they did into the sound of me mining, maybe the game wouldn't suck at the end. You have to have an end point, especially in a PvP game, where if it's all politics, people get burned out because it sucks to bitch and complain and figure things out and having to be in a meeting. That stuff sucks. People want content that is fun to do, that feels like you are rewarded for doing it, that you have fun with your friends. The moment it becomes stale and boring, it's and there's a part of it where people fall off, right? Like, people don't like to grind arena, for example. That sucks, but that is a small portion that people will log in every day. People log into World of Warcraft to do their fucking heroic bullshit dungeons over and over. Those are great loops. I'm hoping that we see Ashes build in those loops that are fun. And so when let's say you lose Metropolis or you lose your smaller node, it's not like, well, fuck, this sucks. It's, we can still do something like this and still grind and have it feel worthwhile, instead of we're going to farm some boxes, guys.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see their secondary systems. I'm sorry, Zorman, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna just add on, like Atheist said in the chat, you know, we're able to sit here and kill these massive fucking bosses, demons from another world kind of thing. We can't fucking swim.
Yeah.
As Pralien said, you know, there's pirates and ships and stuff like that. Can't swim. Like, how, like, why? Why is that? Like, you try and swim in a lake and you instantly die. It's stuff like that it's not like it's a big deal to just add something like that. But yeah, that's just what I wanted to add. And the gameplay loop is important. And you got people, what Blink was saying, with the politics and stuff, and it gets boring and it gets tedious and stuff like that. You know, when you have people in an alliance Discord complaining about, oh, this guy took my boar kill skin thing or whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's like, bro, like, come on, why are you complaining about that? Just go somewhere else or blah, blah, blah. But it kind of speaks to the game and the amount of content. If people are complaining about boar skins or like skinning a thing that they killed and someone takes it, Like there's something way bigger going on there, or a way bigger problem going on there.
For sure. And one of the things that I was thinking about is what like I told you before, one of my favorite games was Dark Age of Camelot. And one of the things that was so special to me about Dark Age of Camelot, and I'm not sure if you guys played it, but was when you reached level 50, that didn't mean shit. You got out and then you had to grind realm rank to become someone. You made yourself in that game. Were you going to be better than some newbie that just came in 2 years after you? Yeah, because you put in the time. I'm kind of hoping that Ashes of Creation follows that system, and in some way, some form, they said that they have a lot of secondary systems, secondary progression systems, and I'm excited to see those. I would love to see some kind of a PvP, PvE version of the realm ranks in Dark Age of Camelot. That would thrill me. You did mention also something about swimming. I had to laugh at that when I saw that in chat. And sound. If there was one thing I could take from New World, it would be the sound. Steven, please add that kind of game sound to the world of Ashes of Creation. And
Tree chopping.
Yeah,
the tree
oh my
chopping
God.
and the rock mining. Oh my God. Hearing like that echo sound, and it sounds like you can actually hear like you're hitting rocks in a valley kind of thing. Oh my God. I still think about it.
That's the only thing that I want that I want from New World. The only thing.
Yeah. That right there, when we talk about strange immersion into a game, that is one of those things, right? I was talking to, it's funny, one of my kids about this, how you can play a video game and 20 minutes goes by and it feels like it's this fast, right? If you go out to farm and it doesn't feel, it feels like you're immersed in that shit, you look up and you're like, if nobody talks in Discord, you're like, man, I was just drinking my coffee, fucking 45 minutes and now my bags are full. That level, if you can get that in the way the character feels, the combat, right? It feels not clunky, not weird, but it feels like you're stuck in it. You know, you hit somebody, they actually slide and move, and the what you see, the graphics match what your character's doing. That would be amazing, and that's what we're hoping to see in Ashes. So.
Nice. And, I just realized what time it was. I got to pick up my wife soon. She's going to say, well, where were you? Oh, well, babe, I was having an interview with Fist of the Empire. Oh, yeah, she's not going to buy that. So on a closing note, first of all, I want to say thank you guys and for everybody in chat for coming on here and showing up and joining us tonight. But on the ending message, what would you like to say to future recruits? Anything you'd like to say about your guild or future recruits or anything in general before we wrap it up?
Yeah, you want to go ahead, Blink?
What I'll say is this. If you're looking for a guild that you can be yourself, get to know folks, whether you're casual, whether you're hardcore, whether you're 25 or 75, if you like to play video games and you like to kind of kick butt, or you like to just come along, we've got some folks who like to just sit and steer the boat. If you can press a button and you can follow simple directions, and you're not a huge jackass, or at least a jackass with kind of a sense of humor, you might like us. Check out our recruitment video. I mean, you've seen two of the officers here talk a little bit about who we are. Come check us out. Zuda.
Nice.
Yeah. To add on to it, I'll say the same thing. We're looking for people who've got that community first mentality, want to be a part of a collective group that tries to push everyone to the limit together. Good dudes and dudettes, mutual respect with one another, have fun at the end of the day. And if you haven't seen our recruitment video, you're missing out. You got to see that recruitment video.
Is the link to the guild on that YouTube video? Because I put the link in there the guild video in there. So hopefully they can get to your website from there.
Yeah, they can.
Okay, awesome. Guys, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. We're going to go, as I like to do, I like to rate other content creators in the Ashes of Creation forum to go ahead and share the love. So once again, Fist of the Empire, thank you. All your members, thank you. I hope you guys have a great night. And let's hope to see you back again. Let's say after Alpha 2 ends and we're getting ready for launch so we can gear up for more recruiting. But thanks again, and we're going to go ahead and raid, guys. So take care, guys. God bless.
Thank you very much.